All right. Well, I'll start. It's very free form. Anyway, welcome to Oh Brother, Not Another Podcast. We are an official Apple podcast with me, Miggs Burrows.
And I'm Trace Burrows. And today we have on the show Steve Fosson from Heart, one of the founding members who helped create the band. And they've had 10 top albums in the charts and 20 hit singles. And are you guys on tour right now? Your band is Heart by Heart.
Heart by Heart, yeah. We're leaving tomorrow for Largo, Florida. Mm-hmm. We play Largo Friday and then Sanibel Island on Saturday. And we fly home during the Super Bowl.
Oh, cool. Well, there'll be nobody around. Is this your kickoff? Because I know COVID, you had planned a tour before, and then COVID sort of interrupted things with everybody.
Yeah, well, our band, we pretty much play most weekends. We either play around Washington State or we fly out to someplace. And we don't do like tours per se where, you're out for 3 weeks and you go from town to town and somebody organizes it all perfect so that the towns are exactly 100 miles apart or whatever, Right. We just, we do one-offs. It's different because we play performing arts centers and their schedules get booked up and, they book us in and then we try to work it out.
So the original lead singers, Ann and Nancy Wilson, are they doing their own thing somewhere else or what's with that?
Yeah, they both have their own separate bands, and they compete with each other.
that was going to be naturally probably a overly asked question. Is how they got along? Was there a lot of squabbling between them in the band? I mean, did you have to sit back and wait for them to work it out?
Well, back in the day when we were in the band, there was no squabbling.
Yeah.
Between the sisters, but they had a big squabble a couple years ago when, I don't know did you hear about it or anything?
Tell us about why did they squabble?
Well, wasn't it over a guy, wasn't it?
Well, no, it was Ann's husband had an altercation with two of Nancy's sons. And it wasn't pretty, and Nancy didn't like it. And Ann didn't like the fact that Nancy got the police involved and all this kind of stuff. So they've been squabbling ever since. And now they're to the point where they don't even call each other by name. They call each other, "That's my business partner."
Oh, God.
Oh, that's too bad.
And they did have a tour a couple of years ago, and part of the requirements were that they couldn't attend dinner at the same time, and they had to work it out so that their entourage didn't pass in the hallways and all. It's very, very complicated.
Yeah. So was your performance at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which was phenomenal, was that the last time you all played together as founding members?
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
That was so exciting. You had your red Fender bass, I guess. Is that?
Well, actually, it's orange, but
okay.
Red works too. But
TV needs to be adjusted.
Yeah, because Somar, who is the lead singer in Heart by Heart, her favorite color is orange. So I had to get an orange bass, I just had to.
Yeah.
So Heart by Heart started out as a duo with you and Somar, right? And then you ended up falling in love and becoming partners.
We did. We became partners, and we got called to open up for Dwight Yoakam in Anchorage, Alaska. And we thought, well, a duo is a little light to be opening up a show. So we asked Mike to join, and we asked a guitar player, Randy Hansen. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he's a Hendrix artist. And he joined us. And so we put together a set. And then a week before the gig was supposed to take place, Dwight pulled out, didn't want to go to Alaska, too far of a drive. I don't know what the reason was, but anyway, so we had a band, but no gig. And then, one thing led to another, and we got some gigs, and all of a sudden, once you get gigs, you have a website, and the website is, everybody can see it all around the world. And then people on the East Coast would say, "Hey, you guys, Mike and Steve, are playing together. And so pretty soon we were, doing shows on the East Coast and the Midwest and West Coast, and just everything just kind of took off from there.
So Heart had a lot of different names before it became Heart. One I remember was Army, right?
Yeah, when Roger and I first got together, well, we were friends since junior high. We were in the same homeroom together, Fisher, Fosson. So, and, all we did for 3 or 4 years was talk about music and dream about music and wish, and then when we were 15, we both decided to get instruments. And then we spent the next couple of years learning our instruments. What a shock. We actually learned how to play. And then we, when we were 17, we decided came to my father's house, and we went to my father's office. He was a real estate guy, and he had an office downstairs, and we shook hands. And we said, okay, let's start a band. We're going to call it the Army. We're not stopping until we make it. So we, just whatever you have to do to make it. And it's usually you have to get different members, because Roger and I were so focused on making it big that we were probably totally annoying to everybody else in the band, because we were, come on, you guys, let's get with it here. Yeah. Because a lot of people, they love music, but to them it's more of a hobby, and they don't feel like, for family reasons or whatever reason, they don't want to go out and tour or whatever, so we just kept changing members until we found Ann. And Ann was just as driven and ambitious as we were. So we just focused and kept, finding members that were just as driven and focused as we were.
So they auditioned separately. Ann didn't bring Nancy with her, or how did that work?
Well, Nancy was in college at the time, but after a couple of rehearsals and after we decided that we were going to have, Ann as our singer, and she decided that we would be her, bass player and guitar player too, because she had a drummer and a male singer and another guitar player. So we had a 6-piece band, and we all needed money. So as soon as we got together enough songs to do a 5-hour set, or five sets per night, we went out and started playing clubs and stuff around Washington and Oregon and Idaho and Montana.
What's the I read one of I'm going to give you a little quiz, which I'm sure is easy, because you mentioned some of your musical influences early on, and one of them was my ultimate favorite album. So I'm going to, if I can do this right, breathe deep the gathering gloom, watch lights fade from every room. Bedsitter people look back and lament, another day's useless energy spent. Impassioned lovers wrestle as I won't go on and on. Anyway.
When you started that, I got goosebumps. I still have them. So Thank you. Yeah, I love that album. I think that was probably the very first LP that I ever bought when I was a young man.
Yeah.
Didn't you play one of those songs at your wedding?
You're right. My wedding vows were from the Moody Blues. It might have been that's called, I forget what the title of that is. It's sort of a little interlude, I think it's called, the interlude, right? Impassioned lovers wrestle as one. Lonely man cries for love and has none. New mother picks up and suckles her son. Senior citizens wish they were young. Anyway,
it's so perfect. It's so perfect. It was, and
you really remember? I have no idea what those words are.
And one of the reasons that I started playing bass was at our high school. One day, the Seattle Symphony came, and I was just fascinated with the bass section, with all their big, gigantic basses and the way they played and the sound and everything. That's one of the reasons I picked up the bass. Another big reason was Paul McCartney, but
Oh yeah,
yeah. So I have a kind of a dopey question. So on the road, you have groupies, you got women, knocking on your door to come in and all that. And first, that's part A. Part B is you never hear about women in rock bands having male like groupies. So So did Ann and Nancy have like guys rush like stage door Johnnies, like rushing, you know, like, I want to have sex with you, you know, that kind of thing?
Well, there was, I mean, Ann and Nancy both had relationships with the Fisher brothers when I was in the band, most of the time that I was in the band. But there was plenty of guys that were, you know, trying to
Dreaming.
Yeah, trying to get in, but they, you know, they were, Ann and Nancy had a good upbringing, and their mom and dad were, you know, very intelligent and taught them right, and so they didn't really, you know, go all out for the sexual pleasures of a new new adventure every night, you know.
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
Have little interludes underneath the stage with like
like Motley Crue, yeah.
Like Motley Crue and Sammy Hagar.
Motley Heart.
Yeah, so yeah, Howard and I, this was after I left Heart, and Howard was in Seattle, and we went and saw Van Halen when they played the arena downtown, and we were sitting we were on stage watching the show, and it's like, hey, where's Sammy?
Yeah.
But Somar, is it pronounced Summer or Somar?
Summer, like the season, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, amazing. The vocal, I mean, you close your eyes and it could be Ann. I mean, was that just, how many people did you see before, I mean, you fell in love later, but how many voices do you have to listen to before you heard, you know, it's just whatever, tonal quality is perfect.
Well, what happened was Summer, she's been singing since she was a kid. Her father had her singing for, you know, their dinner parties and their relatives. And, you know, Summer was totally annoyed by it. She's like, get out there and sing, you know, do a song, you know. And, but she sang all through, you know, elementary school, middle school, and high school. And she even got a scholarship to Central Washington for, you know, vocals. And, but she kept doing that her whole life. And I don't know, then she was in a band called Straight On, and they were a local Seattle band, and they played Heart music. And Roger and Mike and I were playing a party downtown, and we needed a vocalist. And Summer was the one that was chosen by somebody else. Nobody auditioned her or anything, but they said, oh, she sings, she knows the Heart songs, she can sing them. So when you see Summer on the, on the itinerary, you go like, oh, this summer she's going to come in with, you know, big hairy, you know, tie-dye dress, and, you know, and patchouli oil and everything else, you know, smoking them. But she was totally the opposite. She was, you know, her you know, she had very good parents too. So she was raised right. And so I met her, and, you know, I thought, well, she's really nice and smart and everything like that. So we met, and, you know, there was no sparks whatsoever. But we met in February, and then over the course of the rest of the spring and summer and fall, we kept running into each other at different shows, and we planned to go shows together and stuff, and we became friends. And then that friendship turned into a romance. And one night after we played together, I laid a big kiss on her.
Wow. Pretty, crazy on you.
And the rest is history.
All these titles fit: Magic Man, Crazy on You. Yeah. You weren't a Barracuda, were you?
Well, that's exactly. We played Barracuda, Magic Man, and Crazy on You for the very first time we met each other.
Oh, did you? Oh.
And there's actually a oil painting of that night, and Summer and I are both on stage together. So
cool. You shared writing credits with Little Queen. So how does that process as a bass player? Is it really just, I mean, you contribute to every song with a bass line, but why do you have particular writing credits for Little Queen?
Well, I kind of wondered that myself, because I contribute, you know, everybody contributes on every song, basically. And when you're a songwriter and you write the lyrics and, you know, the basic chord structure, I mean, you can divvy up, you know, you can give this guy 5%, that guy 10%, you know, whatever. They do whatever they want. But they said, they announced when we were doing Little Queen, they said, well, on Little Queen, we're going to share the writing. And I thought, oh, cool, it's going to be on every song. But it was just for the song Little Queen.
That's odd.
Yeah, it was weird. But, you know, I contributed and Mike contributed, Howard, everybody contributed on every song. And I don't know why we didn't get a little bit of writing credit for every song, really, basically. There's a few, like maybe Dog and Butterfly, where it was pretty much finished when they presented it to us. You know, there was a few songs like that, but.
You know, I'm curious. So there's these streaming services, and you might do well on them since you probably, you know, I'm sure Heart sells tons of songs even to this day.
That's a thumbs up. They're doing great. The streaming
but for beginning musicians, Spotify, you got to sell 10,000 streams to make $30 because you paid 0.00003%. So what do you have an advice to like up and coming musicians and bands about Spotify? Because, you know, what is the point of that when you can sell a song on Apple for 99 cents, you know?
Yeah, uh-oh.
Sorry, we can cut it out. You can answer it.
No, I'm not going to answer this. I'm going to turn it off.
You can cut it out.
But the music business nowadays, I don't understand it at all. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I download, you know, some new music that I really like, but most of the music that I download and listen to is from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And
yeah.
And I don't know. To give advice, I mean, I give advice to me. I don't even know. I just know that what our music, for some reason, classic radio picked it up after the hits, you know, after the band was, you know, moved on and the hits were still going somewhere else. And, you know, I still hear Crazy on You and Barracuda and Dreamboat Annie when I go to the grocery store or whatever, you know.
And a lot of movies license your songs because I hear it all the time. Barracuda and Identity Thief, that movie. She's in the.
Yeah, we're lucky that Will Ferrell.
Barracuda or whatever.
Yeah, the movies.
We're lucky that Will Ferrell loves us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, without getting, you know, too financial, but I mean, do the movies pay as well as I mean, did they just give you a flat fee? You don't have to say what it is, but did they just say, here's X amount of dollars, we're going to use your song and it's going to be in the titles or in the middle, or every time the movie, you know, every time it plays, you get 10 cents or, you know, does.
They, you know, a variety of ways it's done because each time they license a song and there's a different, you know, attorney here and attorney there, and they come up with a deal. But at first it was just like a big, you know, they gave you a nice big chunk right up front.
I'm a musician. I got started when the Beatles came out.
I see a bass right over there.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Who was your favorite, you know, bass player growing up, you know, when all those bands started coming around? And I guess
well, you know, I loved all the British Invasion, basically.
Yeah.
And Paul McCartney was the king as far as I was concerned.
Yeah.
But, you know, I loved Bill Wyman, John Paul Jones. I can't think. Chad, I know he's the bass player in the Animals. I mean, all these guys did stuff that inspired me.
Chaz
Chandler.
Yeah.
Trace had a run-in with him. Trace had an interesting run-in with him.
They castrate me.
And then in Seattle, we had some very interesting bass players too. I mean, Andy Paripa from the Sonics. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Sonic.
Oh.
And the Wailers. Big, you know, the guys around here, they inspired me too.
I'm curious with your current band, Heart by Heart. So you're not a tribute band because you're the founders of Heart, but when everyone has to, like, your guitar player is Lizzie, is that the right?
Lizzie is, she's.
Yeah. So is there, just even you, do you stray a little bit? Do you have a little leeway, or are you just stick to the charts totally?
Oh, we can definitely stray.
Yeah.
But we insist that everybody learn the part to begin with, perfectly. And then as time goes on, they can, stretch out. But if they feel good on a certain night, they can, stretch out. But if they're tired or they, whatever, then they have the basic thing down so that they can play at least that and be perfect with it.
So there's hard tribute bands out there, I'm sure, right? Do they have to, like, I think legally, don't they have to pay some money for performing their songs in a venue through ASCAP or BMI or whatever, mechanical royalties, I guess they call that, right?
Yes, they do, and you better pay up.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, well, that's the end of our hard tribute.
Probably owe the Moody Blues money for reciting that song.
So those agencies don't keep after those people, do they?
I don't know. I don't know how it's kept track of.
Yeah.
Technically, we're probably supposed to do that too.
Yeah.
But it'd be like Mike and I paying ourselves to pay ourselves,
Yeah.
Paying to pay ourselves. But it's. I don't know. And I think Ann and Nancy are both, and all of us are. We've all been rewarded financially by all that stuff enough that we don't need to nitpick, somebody, some band playing, Magic Man at a corner bar down the street,
Yeah.
But, but we are very thankful that they do, because every time somebody plays Magic Man or Barracuda or Crazy on You or whatever, somebody in the audience is going to go, hey, I want to pick up that. I remember that song, and I'm going to go home and download it when I get time.
Yeah, put it on the playlist. Yeah. There's another part of your life that's fascinating, and I know music. I don't think people appreciate it, but Trace is a drummer, or was a drummer, and still is, and other things. So it's very physically demanding, and I'm just standing on stage and doing what you do. But you're this wilderness interest. I don't know what you'd call. The cliche is adrenaline junkie or thrill seeker. Do you think of yourself as either of those? And what is the satisfaction? And some of the things I read in a recent interview. You came up against like a 200-pound mountain goat, a bear, trying to protect her cubs from you, an avalanche, a mountain lion. What's going on with that?
Well, okay, so
you did when that happened. How did you? Tell me. Where you run?
Well, I took a mountaineer course, and they kind of tell you, if you see a bear, don't get your camera out and follow it and try to
here, bear.
You just try to be smart. If the bear's over here, you go over there. You don't go towards the bear. And you don't act threatening or anything like that. But when you see a mountain lion, you got to be threatening, because or if it's a young bear, if it's a young bear that doesn't know anything about, oh, hey, there's some food over there, and then you got to act aggressive and throw rocks at it and stuff. And then the mountain goat was just standing. I was hiking up this trail, and I had my head down. It was hot, and it was all on all these rocks and stuff. And so I was slipping, and, you take 2 steps forward, you slide 1 step back. And I have trekking poles. So I'm just digging in and really going for it. And this guy says, take a left. Well, no, the peak's over here. I can't do that. And he says, no, Steve, take a left. So I looked up, and this mountain goat was staring at me like this, and they have 2 horns, this long right here, and one was pointed here and one was pointed here. And if you would have popped both my lungs, I'd have been dead in, 2 minutes. But a lucky thing, I took his advice. I took a left.
So with a mountain lion.
And it just so happened that there was these scrub altars there, and he could see over them. And I looked back and saw him, and he didn't want to go through the alders. But he kept an eye on me, and I just kept going, hey, see ya.
So how do
I'm out of here.
How do you scare away? What was that mountain goat? So you just put your hands up and make.
They say make yourself bigger, like, you know.
Oh, for mountain lions.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one that was after me, I outsmarted because I was up on Mount Baker and I was snowshoeing, and I came up to the spot where I had snowshoed a couple of weeks before, and I could still see my tracks because it hadn't snowed in the meantime. And I saw these tracks of a mountain lion coming down, but they were just, almost as old as my snowshoe tracks. So then I did some exploring around. I came back to the same place because that was where I was going to follow my tracks back out to get back to the road. And there was fresh tracks then. So he was following my trail that I had made.
Oh.
So he was waiting in ambush. So I went back a different way.
Interesting. What's the joke about, I don't know, because I went hiking in Jackson Hole about 15, 20 years ago, and we never did see a bear, but we had bear bags and we're all hiding. Everybody was afraid that they're going to be attacked. But there was a joke about the difference between a brown bear and a black bear, and it's something, you wear a bell to scare them away. And I forget, the joke is something like, well, how do you tell if it's a brown bear or black bear? Well, the black bear has bells in its scat, So, and the other ones don't.
Black bear's a big grizzly bear. Brown bears are much smaller, right, Steve?
Oh, black bears are smaller. Grizzlies are.
It's the other way around. The brown bears are the big grizzlies, and the black bears are the small.
Yeah.
But the brown bears, they don't want anything to do with you, and if you kind of get out of their way and don't startle them, you don't have much trouble. But a black bear can be curious and kind of look at you and maybe follow you around a little bit, and that's when you're in trouble.
Yeah.
We get bears here in Connecticut now. I mean, it's amazing.
In my street, up in Reading, Connecticut, the neighbors, knock on wood, I never want to see one. But I told you, my neighbor warned me, and they talk about coming around dawn and dusk, and rummaging around in the garbage with mountain lions up here. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we're in suburban Connecticut. I mean, it's ridiculous.
So, how close are you to New Hampshire?
Oh, a couple 100 miles away, like a 4-hour drive.
Because we're playing in New Hampshire.
Oh, are you? Oh, when?
Month and a half or so.
Well, tell us the date and time, because people listen. Some people listen.
Yeah. Do I have your email? You guys' email?
Well, mine's.
I'll get it from John. I can get it.
Okay.
Get it from John. His mine. So
we have a little bit of time left, but I'm also curious about your, being as active as you are, and your diet. Do you have a particular diet regimen, like you're plant-based? I mean, what's any particular, thing you follow?
Well, I try to stay away from, processed foods, and I eat a lot of vegetables, and I try to eat, a decent amount of fruit, and I eat fresh vegetables and cooked vegetables, and I try to go for the leaner meats like chicken breast and leaner cuts of beef, or if I'm gonna have some of that, and I stay away from deep fried stuff and stuff like that. But I'm not so. I mean, if you're so strict, you can't. You might as well not be a musician because you can't go on the road.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
You're like, where are we eating tonight? Well, it's the so it's such and such restaurant. You get there and the menu's like, you just go like, whoa, okay, so everything is deep fried. And
what did you guys for the dressing room? I mean, this goes back to Spinal Tap, but I mean, what did you guys, did you order bowls of M&Ms without any brown M&Ms or things like that?
No, we don't really usually need a rider, but sometimes we do. And we try to get like a cheese platter and a vegetable platter and maybe some turkey and some bread and mayonnaise and some fruit. And then a couple bottles of wine and some beer.
I guess Van Halen or somebody, they had a test, no green M&Ms in the bowl in the back. It was a test somewhere about, are they going to listen to details, follow details on the stage. If they can't follow the simple ones for the green room waiting to come on, can they follow the other stuff that you need? I don't know. I'm messing the story up badly, but
yeah, I mean, we would have, I suppose we could have done that back when we were in Heart.
yeah.
But right now, Heart by Heart, we don't have that kind of clout where we can go, hey, wait a minute. We said best foods mayonnaise, not, whatever,
You got promoters following you saying like they want a Heart reunion with the original members and, try to make that happen, or you guys just say that's not happening with all the.
Oh yeah. We have tons of fans and people that, that would love to see that. And, me personally, I'd love to see it too, but, it's
Ann and Nancy.
Not words,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to get Ann and Nancy on board, right? I mean, that's the obstacle.
And they're pretty happy with the bands that they have.
Yeah.
Because I mean, part of being in a band is enjoying, the company of the people that you're with, and being able to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
But that's, our band is kind of not like that. We're pretty democratic, and I kind of try to keep it that way, because I like it when I can look at the people I'm standing on stage with, and they're happy to be there, and they like me personally. I'm not, I'm not the boss that, lays down the law and stuff. You have to every once in a while, but
Was you back in the day of the Heart was sounds like a weird phrase, but were you guys like chummy with any other famous bands from that time period that you met and later on had like friend relationships with?
Well, yeah, it seemed like the people in Heart got along pretty well when I was in the band.
Yeah.
And we did meet some cool people, but they go that way and we go this way, and there wasn't the social media like we have nowadays, and the cell phones and all that stuff to keep in touch. So you kind of lose track of them. And but I remember Tyrone from the Doobie Brothers. He was a really good guy to me, and we hung out a little bit, and he gave me a lot of pointers, and I love his bass playing. And so he was a great guy to me. And Steven Tyler would come around and hang out with us. And
we got a Steven Tyler story.
Well,
everybody does.
Well, our high school in Westport, Connecticut, there's a film called The High School That Rocked. And there was a young promoter who's 15 years old. We've interviewed him on this because we went to high school with him. And he promoted at 15 years old. He had the Cream, the Doors come to our high school in 1960, seven?
Yeah. And he's done another band. So we went to Frank Barcelona. He thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
And he started booking these major A-list bands at the time. So Steven Tyler, who was just a kid way before Aerosmith, he was chasing this Dick Sandhouse, who figured all this out and got these bookings. He says, I know the Yardbirds are coming and Jimmy Page is going to be there. I just want to hold his guitar case.
Yeah. Steven Tyler wanted to carry Jimmy Page's guitar case.
Wow.
I did it because at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he announced when Jimmy Page was inducted, he says the first time I met him was at Staples. So I guess
our high school
in Westport. So I guess Sandhouse let him carry that our case.
Yeah, well, all those acts, they came to Seattle, but they were at like the Eagles Auditorium downtown.
Yeah.
One more high school.
Well, we have a few minutes. So one more quick wilderness question. And it's because I've hiked, but I never heard the word peak baggings. What is that?
Well, that's when you go out and you hike a peak and you get to the top and you have a list and you cross it off your list and you bagged it,
Oh, you bagged it. Oh, okay. I'm thinking like, the peak, I thought of a peak of a mountain, but baggings, I thought like something you bring in the bag, you bring with you. Like, what do you bring to the top of the mountain? I don't know.
You bring yourself and your camera and you take a picture and you say, hey, I went to that one.
Some power bars.
There's literally in Washington State, there's hundreds and hundreds of mountains. And, and one mountain a peak here is really cool because over here you can see Baker, and over here you see Shuxton, and the views and stuff are all different, and it's just really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I only did it once in the Grand Tetons, I guess, in Wyoming, but it was phenomenal.
Yeah, Grand Teton. I mean, I'd like to go there. They're grand.
Yeah, they certainly are. Well, can't thank you enough for your time. It's been great. And if you get that, you're going to play in, well, they should look up, our audience should look up Heart by Heart, your website. It's heartbyheart.com, or what is the actual?
Yeah, heartbyheart.com.
.com, and the tour dates will be there. And if you can get to New Hampshire or anywhere in the area, in the East.
Yeah, Heart by Heart has a Facebook too.
Oh, good.
And we have a Heart by Heart fan page, and they all, everybody puts everything on there that they can. So,
yep.
And we love to see people. And, before we used to do meet and greets all the time. And of course, that's kind of out now because of the mask requirements. And, you have no idea what's going on. So, but we do like to sign autographs, and we loved it when people would bring old Heart albums, and Mike and I would sign them, and we hear stories, Hey, my daughter was conceived to this. No, don't tell me.
Yeah. And here she is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Thanks so much, Steve.
Thanks again.
Yeah. Thank you guys. I really appreciate talking with you. It's been fun.
All right. Take care.
All right. See ya.